right, let's talk Q4. We are in mid-October at the time of recording this, and there's basically three things that I'm going to cover. One, for those maybe experiencing their first Q4 or even their second, I want to share some things that I've learned and just give some general advice to help you navigate your first or second Q4. Next, I want to share with you how I see Q4 as a schedule. I remember my first year doing this. I just thought all of a sudden stuff hits the fan beginning October 1, and it's not quite like that. So I'll break down to you kind of how I visualize and from a calendar perspective, how Q4 works. And then lastly, I'm going to share with you how I approach it, some things that I'm going to be doing, when I'm going to be doing them, based on my experience, and just some general thoughts and theories, some words of encouragement here at the end too. So first things first, this is going to be my fourth Q4, by the way. So I feel like I'm pretty well versed now and kind of have a good idea of what to expect. If there's one piece of advice I could give, whether it be to my younger self or to anybody newer on in the game, is that it's not the time to start becoming somebody that you're not as a seller. And what I mean by that is if you're well versed in vitamins, but you hear everyone talk about Lego and toys and games and the new hottest trends, this is not the time of year to start exploring new things, because anytime you go in new directions, you have inevitable headaches and things that maybe you don't catch. So my advice that I can't advocate for enough, and by the way, this is mirrored by so many people in the Amazon space that have been around, just double or triple down on what you already know works and what you're familiar with. And what I mean by double and triple down is essentially if you were typically buy 30 for a month, buy 60 or buy 90. Now there's always variables and things that come into play, but the point is this: the increased velocity is there on high demand items. It doesn't mean that if you make garbage buys, they're going to sell. But if you have things that you know already work and you continue to buy them or find adjacent products to them, just buy more of them. Enjoy the high velocity and take what you've learned and put it into next year and the year after that. It's a long-term play, okay? So if there's one piece of advice, it's don't get caught up in keeping up with the Joneses or what other people are doing. Stick to your game, your budget, double and triple down on what already works for you. And to give you a little quick background story, my first Q4, I was really only well-versed in one store. It was Michael's Arts and Crafts. And so what I did was I hit all the ones in my area. I made a shopping list. I checked out all the store-wide clearance. And then I did a road trip to a city 3 hours away from me. Rental car SUV, cheap Airbnb, came back, rinsed and repeated to another city 3 hours in the other direction, and another city 3 hours in the other direction. And that was my first Q4. And it worked. It worked. There's no way of knowing exactly how much to buy. You're not going to get it all right your first Q4. But I just wanted to share with you, I practice what I preach. I thought it was a successful Q4. I learned a lot. And I didn't really take all this risk because I already knew Michaels and those brands were successful. Okay, so that's my first part. Second off is the schedule. As I kind of mentioned, my first Q4, I was like, oh, October 1st, all of a sudden people just start buying all the way till the end of the year. And it's not that. Now, every seller and every business model is going to be a little different. But from my experience, this is kind of how it goes. The real rush of increased velocity is going to be essentially Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, to just before Christmas, okay, which makes a lot of sense, right? Now, that doesn't mean that certain categories won't do better ahead of time and certain ones won't do better afterwards, right? But as far as when to expect a real genuine increased velocity, that's it. It's about a month from the end of November to the end of December, but it's important to be ready for those with things in stock, ready to go, right? We're not waiting till mid-December to try to play catch up. It's too late at that point. So I just want to share with you that. And, certainly October provides some seasonal opportunities with fall and Halloween and stuff like that. But just generally speaking, I just wanted to basically throw a one sentence disclaimer. That's when you can really expect the rush. So prepare accordingly. Okay. And that kind of piggybacks onto the last part I want to go over is how I'm personally preparing for Q4. Again, this is my fourth one. This is kind of how I envision it. October for me is my goal is by the time November 1st rolls around, I have all other aspects of my life pretty much handled that can wait to be addressed until January. Like, for instance, I have another small business. I am doing everything I can to put it on autopilot, um, or create as little day-to-day maintenance until January. So I'm doing everything that's prioritized, nothing more. We'll revisit it in January. And the reason for that is there is no 2-month period come November and December that will be of a greater opportunity ROI on my time than with Amazon sourcing. So I want to get my ducks in a row. Not just that, but my personal life. I want to have all supplies. I don't want to be missing out on anything. I want to be organized, clean, ready to go. At this point, too, as far as inventory is concerned, there are maybe 5, 10 products that I consistently always sell, and I definitely don't want to run out of. So I'm just consistently adding more and more to my inventory, not spiking it yet, but let's say I have a par level, making sure this product never goes below 50, this product never goes below 100. I'm just making up numbers, right? So I don't want to wait till November because then you're dependent on check-in times and this and that. If I know there's items that are going to sell, I want to start getting them in stock now. And if they go beyond the year, that's totally fine because I have history of that. So that's really important. Also, I'm throwing as many things against the wall as possible right now. Things I'm comfortable with, good buys, but anything that's a good time to buy, I want to get as much feedback right now because the more products that make sense in my catalog, the more I'm going to have in stock, the more the likelihood of me selling more items, making more money, more sales, etc. Right? So that's one thing. Another thing is going through all of my history, not just recent sales, really trying to scrape up anything that I've sold over the year, anything worth revisiting. And even if there's not enough profit now, make a list and have it ready to go because inevitable sales will occur online later on in Q4 as well. So that's really it as far as October goes. I'm prepping. I want to get a good idea of what I need to be buying. I'm topping off my par levels. I'm getting my personal and other stuff situated so that when November 1 comes, it's just go time. I will say I am also doing a lot more prep and pack myself, and I'm trying to put out a shipment essentially every day so nothing gets overwhelmed. I don't send as much stuff to a prep center this time of year because I just can't count on them the way I can with me with turnaround. So many times I can get an item listed FBM right away, have it out the door literally within 48 hours of ordering it. Prep center is just not going to be that. So I'm kind of diversifying where I go with them. But this is a time of the year that I'm going to prep and pack more than ever because if there's ever a time to do it, in my opinion, this is the time. You just want to have things being sent in from all angles. So for me, that's myself, my mom, and my actual prep center. All right. Now let's talk about November a little bit. November, like I said, Black Friday is when I really see the increased velocity. So the way I look at it, if I order something today, prep and pack it, it could take very realistically 2 weeks to go live. So my ramping up on my purchases of everything that I want to buy, things that I currently have in stock that are starting to dwindle, that's happening come November. So October is more of continuously, adding like good products to my catalog and seeing what happens and things I've already sold and topping off par levels. November is okay, these are what I have working, time to ramp them up, right? And continuously finding new products and ramping up type of thing. All right. So November is really just basically the same as I do all year round, cranking up my sales just at a higher velocity. I'm going to spend more in Q4 than I do in the first, and more in November than I have any other month of the year, probably. And then December will be more as well. Okay. And then comes December. At this point, you want to have everything in stock already by Black Friday, but obviously there's going to be replenishable opportunities. Anything that's going to be within close to Christmas, I'm just going to probably try to FBM it. I don't go, a lot of people talk about FBM heavy. I don't go so out of my way for it. There's not one way to do things. I kind of just stick to my game plan that I do all year round, just magnify it and expedite my speed to get it out the door. And then once we get close to Christmas, for a lot of items, especially if I don't already have them in stock, we'll just FBM if it's time sensitive. But I also don't buy so many things that are super time sensitive because there's just a lot of variables that come into play. A million ways to do Amazon. This is how I do it. Now, I will say, December is between Black Friday and December is an awesome time to buy products. So not only is your increased sales velocity going to happen with your products in stock, site-wide sales are going to take place. It might be the one time a year that certain products become so discounted that it makes sense to buy them now. Or it might be the one time of year that you know this is the bottom of the bottom that you can ever get this item for, you might buy 3 months supply instead of your standard 1 month supply, right? And you let people sell out, and then you can charge a premium once they all roll out. And then for me, I do a lot of vitamins and supplements. Think about this. January to me is still Q4 basically, because that's when everyone's like on their healthiest, right? So vitamins and supplements crush it. I take advantage of site-wide sales in December and let those sales carry over to January. I'm not concerned if they sell before Christmas or not. I'm going to see a major spike in that with the micro season that is health and wellness and new me and new year type of thing, right? So overall, that's kind of my approach. I don't go crazy different, right? I like I said to beginners, I triple down on what works for me. I stay on top of myself, on my stuff. I prep and pack more. I prep and pack more frequently, faster. I'm using my prep center, myself, my mom. I'm gonna buy things at a huge discount or very low price. And also, this is a huge opportunity if to reward yourself if throughout the year you come across a lot of products where there wasn't enough profit, but they were still good items, to revisit those, because in December, if there's ever a time it's going to be lowest buy price, this is it. So, in summary, new sellers, just double and triple down what works for you. In my opinion, the real window increase velocity is going to be Black Friday to just before December. If you're into health and beauty or health and vitamins and supplements, you get a whole nother month of January. Take advantage of deep discounted sales to buy things in December, even if you don't sell them in Q4, and stick to what works for you. You have 9 months, 10 months out of the year to try toys and new categories and items. Now is not the time, in my humble opinion. All right. Enjoy it. It's a great time to be a seller. Make sure you're on top of your account health, get things in order. Again, if there's ever a point in time to put extra focus into sourcing in your Amazon business, the ROI on your time in November and December is the highest of any time of the year. So, just my 2 cents. I wish everyone well. I'm really excited. For what it's worth, I'm hoping to do like 100K in October, maybe 120, 125 in November, and hopefully 150 in December. If I can keep my cash flow in check, I think it's possible because of the velocity, everything I've learned. We'll see what happens. I'll certainly update after this year or after Q4. We'll talk about a recap, but appreciate you guys being here. I'm Jonathan. Duke does Amazon. Have a great day. I will talk to you guys soon. It's got some links and discount codes below. Have a good one. Take care.